Welcome back to the Himalayan webinar series. Today we'll be zooming into the beautiful Dhauladhar, which separates the Kangra Plains from the Chamba Valley. Dhauladhar is quite extensive, so we'll cover it in 2 days. The one today is the Western Dhauladhar. As usual, we are live on Zoom. Welcome to dial in any day. And recordings are posted 10-minute preview on Insta TV, full videos on the blog and YouTube. Here you can see a beautiful picture during sunset at the Dhauladhar, seen above Dharamsala. You can see a high 4,500 meter high range of snow peaks. Visible, it seems, during the lockdown from 200 kilometers away. And at the base of these foothills, the base of the Himalayas, Kangra Plains, you have beautiful lush forests where the snow melt is drained into several valleys. We'll talk about the Kangra Plains, the interior Dhauladhar, the upper Dhauladhar, and the other side, the Chamba side. You can see a daytime picture during of the inner Dhauladhar. It's a lush green forest, actually beautiful, various kind of side valleys that take away the glacial and the snow meltwater from the top. And yeah, even though it's quite wild, there are a couple of settlements there, like Baka Temple, Deep Geit, Laka Deep, where you'll find some mountain tribes or some seasonal people staying during the summer months. These are all the passes I crossed last summer during the during my Trans-Himalayan traverse over 150, 120 passes. A couple of them are higher passes here, some 8 high passes, and then also a couple of interior passes in these mid-range Dhauladhar. Let's take a look on Google Earth to put everything in perspective again. As usual, we are looking again at the overall Himalayas here, Nepal, Uttarakhand, Himachal, Jammu and Kashmir, Pakistan, and Tajikistan. So zooming into the Indian Western Himalayas, west of Nepal, we come into Himachal. Yesterday we saw the Great Himalayan National Park between the Shuttle Valley and the Beas River in the Kulu Valley. Now going left west of the Kulu Valley, we come and see the beautiful Dhauladhar here. So we have the major towns of Palampur, Dharamsala, Bajinath, from where a big, high, steep wall rises up of connected snow peaks. This is basically the Dhauladhar. It proceeds west to east and then kind of goes northeast towards the Kulu side. It separates also Kulu as well as the Kangra Plains here from the interior Chamba Valley. If we zoom in a little bit on the western side today, we can see a number of high passes here. Baleni Pass, Minkiani, the Geit Pass is there, Indrahar Pass is there. Couple more passes here in between on the way to the Waru Pass, which I covered. Jalsu Pass is there. These I haven't covered yet, will be on the to-do list for this summer or next summer if Corona does not allow to enter. And then at the base also, you can see multiple valleys coming down here from the upper ranges. So these are all beautiful interior forests with several also kind of smaller mini passes, you can say, saddle traverses like Geit is there, Deep Geit, the famous Triunt Hill is there, and you can keep climbing here over Deep Geit, and here's the Baka Temple at the base of the Geit Pass. You can climb up again over the saddle that leads to the beautiful Kariri Lake. So all these valleys and all these saddles are accessible from small villages here at the base of the Dhauladhar. So let's take a closer look now. We'll first start again at the west. I have encircled here in red colors, Kariri, Baleni, Minkiani, Lakadeep, Indrahar, Hodiki, Triunt Peak, Lakadeep, and Geit Pass. The remaining passes we'll cover tomorrow. So here again a schematic with all the names now mentioned. So in addition to this Dhauladhar here, the passes that cross over from Kangra to the other sides, to somewhere here in the western side, you have various holy lakes. One of them is Lamdal, but there are like some 5 to 7 lakes here. that during the mid-August time frame, or many of the local people visit these, consider them sacred. So many pass traverses towards various villages, Kuvarasi, Darkund, and the Chamba sites. But as you can see also here, and these red line drones, you also have a lot of interior hiking routes, beautiful hiking routes where you actually stay midway below these snow-covered high ranges and go to amazing kind of deep forest, very virgin, very kind of less used except for some interior mountain tribes and some shepherds on the way. You will see very less hikers there compared to, like, say, Tarmac or towards Triunt, which is like a major hiking route. Here you can see some of the settlements here near the Baga temple at the base of the Geit Pass. You can see these primitive settlements here. You also see a shepherd with all his sheep. So you'll find quite a few of these in the Dhauladhar, even though they are less dense populated than some other parts of Himachal. Beautiful lakes. Here you can see the beautiful Kareri Lake at the base of the Minkiani Pass. Amazing, very beautiful during sunrise and sunset. A couple of local people also stay near them, and big meadows on one side. From here, you can connect both sides through the beautiful hiking routes in the inner Dhauladhar. Here you can see some semi-nomadic people on the base of the Baleni Pass. So two elder gentlemen and his wife in again a very primitive settlement. One room with a kitchen where they cook, they sleep, and they live. Have some cattle, a buffalo, a couple of goats. They told us they normally stay at the base of the Himalayas in Kangra during the winter months. During the summer, every year they migrate to away from the cities. Actually, it's not a necessity, but they like to stay here in the pristine Dhauladhar during the summer months. Very hospitable. Immediately he starts milking the buffalo to prepare some fresh tea for a couple of hikers that join me on the way. Here you can see the upper side of the Baleni Pass. You can see that valley through which we came, where you'll find many of those nomadic people staying in primitive rock shelters along the way. So majestic views as we climb up steeply out of these valleys towards the Dhauladhar. Here again, we are then fully on top. Here you have like a beautiful top view of this ridge, this Dhauladhar ridge, which goes a long way there. As I mentioned on the left side here, this is one of the valleys that eventually leads to the main Chamba Valley. Still early June, so here many of those holy lakes, which I mentioned, like Lamdal and a couple of others, are still completely covered by the winter snow. The local people will only kind of go on a pilgrimage through these passes in mid-August after the snow melts. Kind of gradual descent on the left side into Chamba, very steep descent on the right side, on the southern side towards the Kangra Plains. Here we have a small video showing the Lamdal Lake covered by snow, and myself being kind of stuck in a snow blizzard here midday.
Looking at the Lamdal Lake in mid-June. Not much to be seen of the lake. Completely covered by snow.
Lots of snow here during the heavy winter.
A little bit chill.
Previous winters.
A small blizzard to reach here. A lot of fresh snow, so I'm not sure when this snow is gonna melt if it keeps coming. A trail comes over the rocks here. Okay,
so here another beautiful view on the same valley, seen from the second pass, the Minkiani Pass, through which I returned after crossing the Baleni Pass. A bit steep, but actually because of the snow, it was quite easy to descend from the slope into Chamba. Here you can also see the typical thing, the same Dhauladhar seen from the southern side and comparing at the same time from the northern side. So you can see there is a lot of different snow melt, typically southeast, where the sun is bright during the early mornings, and northwest, where typically slopes will still be pretty much covered with snow. As I guess is that towards the afternoon there is more cloud formation and the sun radiation is less strong on these northern and western slopes. Here you can see a friendly lady at the beautiful Kareri Lake, which we saw earlier. They are probably staying here again to graze their cattle during the summer months. Hospitable as all. As soon as they see you passing, they invite you for a cup of tea, ready to feed you and host you anytime, basically, even though Kareri is a little bit more touristic. Here another beautiful kind of bird's eye view on the way climbing up to the Indrahar Pass. Here we have Lakadip. So this is a bit of a touristic route. Lakadip, you have several restaurants, dabas on the way, quite pricey. Here we can see McLeod Ganj, where the Dharmas, His Holiness is staying down there in the plains. You have Dharmasala. Here you can actually see the Bees River, a huge lake here actually that flows all the way from the Manali, the Kulu side. And then here the famous Trium Peak, which is a famous hiking destination. As we climb up, this was actually a picture taken in 2018, September. As we climb up, still a lot of snow hanging on the Dhauladhar due to the heavy snowfall the previous winter months in the last 2 years. Again, like this was somewhere mid-July by the time I hit Indrahar. Mid-June, and you can still see again on the northern side, the snow remains. During the early morning when we climb up, it's frozen, so it's you cannot really step without making cutting steps with a proper tool like an ice axe to traverse these steep sections.
More snow on the way to Indrahar, little bits steeper here, so cutting deeper steps to get up vertically.
Towards the afternoon, the snow will actually become soft, and then you can really step.
Okay, we have two hands, one for the ice axe and one for the camera.
But in the morning, it's completely frozen due to the freezing nights.
Thanks, Ravi, for this useful piece of equipment from the US.
It takes quite a lot of time, of course, to traversing like a 20-meter wide frozen snow gully. Takes considerable time and effort.
Voila, that was a bit steeper one.
That is the reason there that you cut these steps.
Getting a little Dhauladhar are typically quite steep.
It's a long way down
towards the ridges.
Below.
Seeing the Kangra Plains for below.
Joining in my footsteps. Voila, and then here on the other side of the Indrahar Pass, stunning views on the glacier below, immediate below the Chamba Valley, which if you descend further to Kuvarasi village, you come in the lush green Chamba Valley. And then again, the next range on your way to Lahore is the mighty Pir Panjal, 5,500 range of snow-covered peaks here that separate the Chamba Valley from Lahore and Panghi Valley next. Here, let's take a small video descending from the Indrahar Pass. Remember, this is the south.
We are sliding into Chamba Valley from the Indrahar Glacier.
You can see the difference between the
snow is a bit soft thanks to the morning sun. It's 12 p.m. so you can actually slide with the right gradient and the right steepness. Always control your speed. Down below we have Chamba there, below the Pir Panjal range. If I keep going at this speed, I'll be reaching Kuvarasi sooner than expected.
All right. So here again, descending further into Chamba, still a lot of snow-covered side valleys. Wherever the valley is not directly exposed to the sun above, a little bit deeper cut into the valley, then snow can survive. Snow bridges, in this case, can survive for a long time into the summer, making it handy sometimes to cross the valley, of course. You can see as you descend to lower altitudes come in those beautiful pine forests and meadows of Chamba. Finally, when you hit the first village here, Kuvarasi, beauty, all made houses made from natural materials, woods, limestone, stone roofs on top. Very friendly people again, hospitable to invite you into their home. Very beautiful settlement, quite far away, still a couple of hours from the main Chamba Valley. Here you can see the old Kuvarasi temple below a huge and massive pine tree, where the people typically put all these wild horns on display, and along with those bells and those peaks or whatever it is, symbol of Shiva. Beautiful paths here going then to the main valley from Kuvarasi. Without these paths, it would be impossible to cross here the same Kuvarasi Nala, the same water stream that comes down from the Indrahar Glacier, and by this time has gained enough force to cut very deep into the surrounding landscape, cutting almost near vertical gorges, which are impossible to traverse at the base of the valley. Having a closer look then again in the interior, Dhauladhar here, this is again on the Dharmasala side, from where again you have these beautiful trails going midway, also very beautiful, and crossing through various valleys and saddles as you go east to west across the mid-range Dhauladhar. Beautiful views on those steep rising rock wall for 4,500 meter height. Here again, a beautiful view of a bit of a commercialized campsite, mid-range of the Dhauladhar, giving stunning views on those high-rising Dhauladhar, as seen from the Kangra foothills. You can see local people making those limestone tiles to cover roofs of the huts. Here another beautiful photo, trekking through wilderness on the way to Trakdi, one of those interior places which will eventually go to Lakadip. So as soon as you go a little bit away from the immediate plains, where they have a lot of human settlements, where it's quite open and hot and not much vegetation, as soon as you get a little bit inside the Dhauladhar, you come across amazing pristine forests, which are fed by those melting glacier streams. Here you can see snow meltwater coming down from the Dhauladhar above and transforming the whole landscape in a beautiful forest. Same again, those beautiful streams coming down through these beautiful interior Dhauladhar. Very less known, you can see the trails are not used much, but beautiful actually for beginners and moderate level trekkers, instead of going through those high passes exposed to higher altitude and snow and glaciers. Hiking in the mid-range Dhauladhar is really an amazing experience. Here again, you can then see those people that you meet, not the hikers of Dharmasala, but the shepherds which traverse through these interior Dhauladhar, grazing the meadows on their way. Here you can see one of my favorite settlements, beautiful settlement of Deep Gods, again on top of one of the saddles, midway between the Dhauladhar above and the Kangra Plains behind. So this is like a summer settlement, deserted in the winter, where we have some 2-3 settlements basically. I reached here when it was raining heavily. People offered me to come inside their home here, covered me with warm blankets, gave me food. I had a very comfortable night stay, slept like a doll, and then the next morning climbed up to the Geit Pass. Geit Pass is also a well-known route. You can see here there are like dedicated pathway created. Geit Pass is very steep actually. Here you actually see the same path, right? Going again through these frozen snow gullies. So without an ice axe, forget it. You won't be able to get up there unless the snow is completely melted, maybe later in the summer. And then finally, here you can see the other side of the Geit Pass coming steep up from the Dharmasala side, and then again gradually descending, completely snow-covered at the northern Chamba side on the way to the Landau Lake again. Here a small video in between. Voila. Here I think I'm running
Running down
Pass.
from the Geit Pass after a steep 2000 meter climb from the Kangra Plains, the Baga temple. Crossed Geit and now running down the snow-covered Chamba valley here next to the beautiful Lamdal lake over there, still covered in snow. And then here at the base we can see the Nagaraj Dalde lake.
So you can see if the snow is soft and the gradient is not too much, it's easy to get down there. Here again the same Lamdal which you saw in the video earlier in the slides, completely covered by snow. Here at the lake, I think it's Nagaraj Dal Lake or the stream below Nagaraj Dal Lake. It's slowly melting because of the summer sun. So we are some 2 weeks later. And you can see the beautiful glacial melt stream appearing from underneath thick sheets of frozen winter ice. Again, getting further down into Chamba, beautiful trails here, sometimes landslided, but as soon as the snow melts, I mean, these routes seem to be used pretty much by hikers and tens of thousands of local people, I understand, on their annual yatra to those lakes. Voila, that is the Western Dhauladhar, one of my favorite places, very beautiful, both to cross over to the Chamba side as well as to hike mid-range over many mini saddles and beautiful hiking routes. If you want to know more, check my blog ultrajourneys.org, where you can search on any of the names seen here to get a detailed journey along each of these hiking routes. Stay tuned. See you guys tomorrow for the not the less eastern Dhauladhar, separating the Kulu side from Chamba. Ciao.